Ladies and gentlemen, I request you to please rise as the dignitaries have just entered the hall. Believe You Can and You Are Halfway There by Theodore Roosevelt. An inspirational morning to one and all. Distinguished dignitaries on and off the days, my learned colleagues, parents, invitees, and my dear student friends. On behalf of the Department of CSE, I, Dr. Manjula Ramannavar, welcome you all to the 6th Graduation Day ceremony of the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at KLS Gogte Institute of Technology, Belagavi. Thank you. Let us now solicit God's blessings to mark the auspicious beginning of this ceremony. I call upon Aarti Shapurkar Madam to render the invocation song.
Hello. अजं निर्विकल्पं निराकारमेकं निरानन्दमानन्दमद्वैतपूर्णम् अजं निर्विकल्पं निराकारमेकं निरानन्दमानन्दमद्वैतपूर्णं परं निर्गुणं निर्विशेषं निरीहं परब्रह्मरूपं गणेशं भजेम अजं निर्विकल्पं निराकारमेकं निरानन्दमानन्दमद्वैतपूर्णम् गुणातीतं चिदानन्दरूपं चिदाभासकं सर्वगम्यानगम्यं गुणातीतमानं चिदानन्दरूपं चिदाभासकं सर्वगम्यानगम्यं मुनिधेयमाकाशरूपं परेशं परब्रह्मरूपं गणेशं भजेम अजं निर्विकल्पं निराकारमेकं निरानन्दमानन्दमद्वैतपूर्णं परं निर्गुणं निर्विशेषं निरीहं परब्रह्मरूपं गणेशं भजेम परब्रह्मरूपं गणेशं भजेम परब्रह्मरूपं गणेशं भजेम. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for the wonderful rendition. Graduation is a milestone accomplishment in one's academic journey. We have gathered here to witness this momentous celebration and acknowledge the efforts put in by our postgraduate and undergraduate students towards the programs of Master of Technology in CSE and Bachelor of Engineering in CSE respectively. May I request our respected HOD, Dr. V.S. Rajpurohit sir, to deliver the welcome address.
Very good morning to all of you. Today I am very excited to be part of this Department Graduation Day celebration for the 2022 graduating batch as Head of the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. First of all, let me welcome Chief Guest of today's function, Mr. Chirant Patil, Co-founder of Strategy and Growth at Discovery and proud alumnus of CSE GIT. Thank you very much, sir, for making yourself available and in spite of your busy schedule. I welcome our beloved principal, Dr. J.K. Kittur, sir, who will be joining us very shortly, who is the backbone of all our activities at GIT. My heartiest welcome to sir also. I welcome our beloved Dean Admin, Professor D.A. Kulkarni, sir, Head Computer Center, Professor M.M. Matt, sir, Placement Officer, Professor Satish Ukeri, sir, Alumni Coordinator, Professor Padma Dandanawar, Madam, for this auspicious occasion. I welcome all the proud parents of graduating students for being part of this graduating ceremony in both online and offline mode. The main fulcrum of today's function, the graduating batch of 2022 CSE. On behalf of the KLS management, principal sir, and all my colleagues, heartiest welcome to you all. Thank you for making all of us proud. I welcome all my colleagues, the true sculpturists of 2022 graduation batch, who have transformed computer enthusiast students to software professionals. I welcome all the ACE CSI volunteers who are working day and night for the successful conduction of this particular event. Once again, I welcome each and everyone who are attending this function in either online or offline mode. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have amongst us today Mr. Chirant Patil as the chief guest of today's function. I deem it my privilege and pleasure to introduce our esteemed chief guest to the gathering. Mr. Chirant Patil is our very own distinguished alumnus who graduated from our department in the year 2005, post which he pursued MBA, Finance, Management Information Systems at University of Massachusetts, Boston. Mr. Chirant has a rich work experience of 15 plus years spanning several geographies in various capacities, starting from systems analyst, senior systems analyst at Fidelity Investments, consultant, strategy and operations at Deloitte Consulting USA, partner at Zuna Asset Management, Boston, Singapore, and Bengaluru. He has worked as the CEO of Gito.me, which is a unified e-commerce platform for mid-market retailers and distributors. Mr. Chiranth has also served as a volunteer for Ambertag Analytics Private Limited that engages deserving academic dropouts, freshers, industry boomerangs, and trains them in neo-technology areas with focus on data sciences. He has also functioned as Head of Ecosystem Development at MED-ICI Global that accelerates the global impact of fintech across the financial services industry. Mr. Chiranth is the support founder of early stage startups in an angel capacity by our Beta Plus Capital Partners, a Bengaluru-based friends and family investment office. In his current capacity as co-founder, strategy and growth at Riskcovery, he and his team reimagine insurance for a digital-first world and are on the mission of building Riskcovery Insurance Anywhere. Apart from this, Mr. Chiranth also makes time to pursue his hobbies of reading, music, and traveling. With this, ladies and gentlemen, I proudly present before you Mr. Chiranth Patil. I request a round of applause for our chief guest. Thank you. I now request our respected HOD, Dr. V.S. Rajpurohit sir, to present a floral welcome to our esteemed chief guest, Mr. Chiranth Patil. Thank you, sir. I now request Dr. R.S. Patil to welcome our HOD, Dr. V.S. Rajpurohit sir. Thank you, sir. Now comes the most awaited moment and the reason why we have all assembled today. It is time to acknowledge the talent and hard work of our fresh postgraduates and graduates. You will now be receiving your PDC, a symbol of accomplishment. Candidates receiving the degree, please come forward as your name is called. I request our chief guest to kindly hand over the provisional degree certificates to the candidates present here. We first start with our post-graduate students. Master of Technology in Computer Science and Engineering. We have Manashwini Hasbe. Mr. Pawan K. Kindly give a big round of applause. We now move on to our undergraduate program, BE in Computer Science and Engineering. A.S. Prajna. Abhishek Loni. Mr. Abhishek Raibagi. Mr. Achal Charantimat. Miss Aditi Mahajan. Mr. Aditya Shanbag. Miss Aishwarya Kuntarkar. Mr. Akash Paushik. Miss Akshata Gasti. Miss Akshata Savalgi. Mr. Akshay Marnur. Mr. Akshay Naik. Mr. Amok Mathad. Miss Amorata Galgali. Miss Amrita Patil. Miss Anaka Deshpande. Mr. Anil Kumar Hugar. Mr. Anirudh M. Mr. Anurup Nayak. Mr. Arbit Pavaskar. Arvind Tadsal. Mr. Ashish Saugavkar. Mr. Asif Pirzadeh. Ms. Dhanashri Zende. Ms. Divya Nayak. Ms. Jnaneshwari Madan. Ms. Fatma Mullah. Mr. Gagandeep Patil. Mr. Gangadhar Kulam. Ms. Goda Devi Tegla. Ms. Gaurika Sood. Mr. Harish Maregutti. Mr. Harshavardhan Mani. Mr. Ittappa Hattivani. Mr. Varun Joshi. Mr. Jyoti Prasad Patil. Ms. Kalashri Patil. Miss Akshata Nerli. Miss Nidhi Kalyan Shetty. Mr. Nikhil Talwar. Miss Nikita Terdal. Miss Nikita Chavan. Miss Nikita Portani. Mr. Nishchal Kanishk. Mr. Omkar Revankar. Mr. Parth Savar. Mr. Pawan Sanjeev Bagewadi. Miss Pragati Shetty. Mr. Prajwal Katti. Mr. Prathamesh Koranne. Miss Pratiksha Chapgaonkar. Miss Pratiksha Bhandari. Miss Preeti Jatti. Kindly maintain silence. Request the audience to give a round of applause. Miss Priyanka Tensal. Round of applause, please. Mr. Rahul Rathod. Thank you, sir, for doing the honors. I now request Namita ma'am to kindly take over.
I now request Dr. M.M. Bhatt sir to kindly do the honors. Rashmi Kulkarni. Mr. Rishabh Nayak. Mr. Ritwik Chiniwal. Mr. Sagar Nilga. Miss Sahana Kulkarni. Mr. Sahil Gaonkar. Miss Saili Salukte. Miss Sakshi Kamble. Miss Sakshi Saniko. Miss Samiksha Patil. Mr. Samprit Joshi. Mr. Sandeepa Chavan. Miss Sanjana Kinanu. Mr. Saurav Deshpande. Mr. Sirish Tarihalkar. Mr. Shiv Mirchi. Miss Shraddha Kaur. Miss Shreya Parvatikar. Mr. Shreyas Vijay. Mr. Shreyas Shukla. Mr. Shreyas Muchudi. He has also been awarded as Cultural Coordinator for the Cultural Committee in the academic year 2021-22. Mr. Srinidhi Deshpande. Miss Shruti Patil. Deshpande. Mr. Shubham Vigrahalli. Mr. Shubham Changadkar. Miss Shweta Huli. Mr. Siddesh Surkot. Mr. Siddharth Patil. Miss Sonal Somnache. Miss Sonia Malodi. Miss Saujanya. Miss Soumya Bholi. Please maintain silence. Miss Soumya Patil. Miss Srishti Bikkanam. Miss Suhana Mullanam. Mr. Sujay Ambarkar. Mr. Rushikesh Suryavanshi. Mr. Swagat Sapkale. Miss Tanuja Halingali. Mr. Tarun Bagewadi. Miss Vaishnavi Tiwari. She is also appreciated for being the dance coordinator for the cultural committee in the academic year 2021-22. Mr. Vijit Pujari. Mr. Vinayak Matri. Miss Vinita Kale. Vishwa Naikar. Mr. Vishwanath Honawat. Thank you, sir. I now request Professor Dhotre sir to kindly do the honors. Miss Yogita Kadam. Mr. Pranav Mathal. Miss Akshata Savan. Mr. Vinod Pugnadi. Miss Saili Divekar. Mr. Deepak Revidgar. Mr. Vishwanath. Mr. Arvind Das Reddy. Mr. Narayan Shirodkar. Mr. Abdul Malik. Mr. Abhishek Belagavi. Miss Achal Malvi. Mr. Akshay Janvedkar. Miss Apeksha Goyal. Miss Ashwini Pandigiri. Mr. Chandrakant Kongari. Miss Gauri Patil. Sorry. Miss Supriya Dongare. Thank you, sir. I now request Dr. Sandaki sir to kindly do the honors. Sonali Patil. Miss Pranali Hakim. Miss Krupa Palekar. Miss Lakshmi Naik. Miss Manali Patil. Mr. Nihal Pise. Mr. Ovesh Sheikh. Miss Pooja Samrekar. Miss Sanjana Kamkar. Mr. Shreyash Manurkar. Mr. Sriniket Virendra Katti. Miss Sonali Patil. Mr. Saurabh Suryavanshi. Miss Surekha Patil.
I request Dr. R.S. Patil, ACSI Coordinator, to kindly take over.
Very good morning to all of you. Very good morning. Yes. Respected dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, proud parents, and my dear students. Myself, Dr. R.S. Patil, Staff Coordinator for AS and CSI, want to brief about the number of activities which are conducted in this academic year. We conducted so many technical events, sports events, and social concern events, and computer science students as well as other department students have participated in those events, as well as they have won so many prizes. The department desires to recognize and appreciate the students who have contributed towards making department successful and brought laurels to the department. In this regard, students were told to submit nominations for different categories of awards, and then department constituted a committee comprising of senior faculty members to finalize the winners. Today, I feel privileged and honored to stand here in front of you all and acknowledge the achievements of our brilliant students who have made both college and their parents proud. I would like to request our chief guest, Shri Chirant Patil sir, to do the honor. First, let me start with the PG, that is from MTech. The first award is Best Sports Person. In boys section, it goes to Shubham Bidkar from MTech. I think he's absent. I think he is absent today, so we'll transfer his certificates to his home by end of the day today. And let me start with the UG. In UG, Best Sportsman in boy, it goes to Rohan Malladkar. Give big round of applause to Rohan. Huh? Banda? Yeah. Yeah, I think from MTech, Bidkar is with us now. I request Bidkar certificate. Yeah. Bidkar. Let me start with B now. Best sports person in boys section goes to Rohan Malladkar. Again, best sports person in girl goes to Nandita Takkannavar. Yes, best in technical in boys. It is shared by two students. First one is Parth Zavar. And second one is Naman Mehta. And I wanted to inform both have scored equal score. So that's why we have shared the prize between these two. And best in technical in girls, it goes to Larina Maskirin. I hope she is there. Next, best in cultural. In boys, it goes to Akshay Marnoor. And in girls, it goes to Nikita Kotkani. Yes, last but not the least, the best student in boys. It goes to again Parth Zabar. Best student in girl, it goes to Megan Givari. Congratulations to all the students, winners. I thank our chief guest, Charan Patil sir, to felicitating our students. Please be seated. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir. We resume with the PDC distribution. I now request Sandaki sir to please do the honors. Mr. Aditya Hollandavar. Miss Bhagyashri. Mr. Dheeraj Kamat Gowda. Miss Divya Naginal. Mr. Faizan Saqib. Mr. Manjunath Korandi. Mr. Rohan Patil. Mr. Pratik Gowda. Miss Preeti Kamble. Raman Pawar. Mr. Rohan Hathine. Mr. Rohit Murugan Gowda. Mr. Sharan Jamnani. Miss Shri Priya Lingareddy. Miss Siri Konkali Mat. Miss Sonal Deshmukh. Mr. Pavan Kumar Gadat. Kindly wait for 2 minutes. Miss Arpita Ninganure. Mr. Prithvi Naidu. Mr. Rohan Maladkar. Mr. Shashank Hiremat. Mr. Yogi Raj Mali Patil. Mr. Abhishek Murthy. Miss Chetana Bhovi. Mr. Shubham Bidkar. Mr. Vaibhav Patil. Thank you all for doing the honors. I now request Manjula ma'am to continue.
Thank you, Namita ma'am. Those who belong to the clan of achievers live the idea that inspires them to dedicate their existence, efforts, and soul to its execution. We have amongst us an achiever in Mr. Chiran Patil who lives by this principle. May I now request our esteemed chief guest to address the gathering.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for the warm welcome. HOD sir, esteemed members of the staff, the faculty, parents, and my dear fellow GITians. Great pleasure to be here. The last time I was probably sitting where you guys were sitting was more than 15 years ago. So just to put that in context of GIT, probably this auditorium was still getting constructed during that time. So this was really long time ago. But it's great to be back here and address you all. Thanks for the opportunity. You know, looking back into my time at GIT, I keep telling sort of friends and family and colleagues that two things happened to me. One is met this girl, fell in love, married. Now we have two young ones. So that is one. And second is I realized that I was not as smart as other folks in the room. I was probably an average student at best in terms of sort of building technology myself. I was not passionate about building technology as much as understanding what technology can do, especially computer science technology in the real world. Right? So I was more excited about the product and the business side of technology than building technology myself. I was a horrible coder, actually. So, but what excited me again was the intersection of technology, business, and product. And that's what my kind of career has kind of taken me to, sort of where we're trying to bring some value in a particular industry today. But let me peel back history a little bit. I'll try and sort of, from what I understand, most of us here have either entered into our first job and are going to get to sort of our first job very soon, if not already. Most of us here have been placed, if not all. Congratulations to all of you. And in that context, as I look at my own sort of, background and history, in the context of entering my first job, what have been my learnings, right? When I first entered my job, and what I wish I knew entering into my first job and while I was in my sort of, starting out my professional career, what are the things that I wish I knew? So I would love to kind of share my learnings, and not all of it might be relevant. Maybe some of it might be relevant. I leave it to you guys to take whatever you think is relevant for you guys and imbibe it if you like. But I'll try and contextualize and weave in my own sort of personal story on the back of some learnings and share that with you. The second part of what I'd like to talk about is coming out of the professional career and early, career and all of that. What have been my life lessons, right? Which I continue to kind of hold sort of dear to me. So I'll talk a little bit about that. I don't think education system the way it is, and it is probably contrarian here, I don't think education system the way it is sort of, set up and sort of, our history of, and education is, we are a young country, right? We are just about 75 years young, and education has sort of been formalized about 3 or 4 decades. Yes, we had the Gurukul system and all of that, but sort of universities and all of that, which is mainstream in nature, very young. And it kind of prepared us for exams, not for jobs, right? It was about sort of getting, imbibing a lot of content, sort of to a certain degree, almost memorizing it or understanding the base, well, and then being able to replicate that in exams, right? That's not how the real world works. In what we in the education world call as plagiarism is called inspiration in the real world. You can sort of, that is the biggest difference I wish I knew, right? I thought sort of, had my fundamentals strong, had gone from engineering to MBA, pretty much on a full scholarship, had done really well in that sort of, context, had sort of, offers in hand. One of the top companies in the country had kind of, come onto campus, had got recruited as an intern there, replicated that over a few semesters. And then finally, when it was time to join full-time, I had an offer in hand and didn't even have to, interview more than just one sort of conversation, right? So it happened quite easily, but I wish I knew that what I had learned in my early days is not something that is going to be apples to apples comparable in the job. Nobody cares about how strong your foundations are in the real world, right? It's very important to get your foundations right. Hence, sort of, education prepares us, engineering prepares us to get that solid foundation on top of which you can put a lot of layers of learnings and knowledge. But nobody cares about that. In the real world, it's all about getting things done. You are either great at what you do, good enough at what you do, or not good enough, right? So in the real world, it's about whether you are the go-to person for something to get done. That's all that matters, right? Doesn't matter which sort of, degree you have. All that sort of, helps to kind of build credibility for people to trust you with a certain kind of work. But beyond that, it's sort of what you're performing on the job, right? So that is very, very, very important to kind of learn. So what would sort of I have done if I knew that? I think one of the most important things that I would have done is not do or not do any on-the-job thing or whatever sort of responsibilities or projects were coming my way for the sake of just impressing my bosses or management, or that's a big part of sort of how you grow in the corporate world and all of that, but not the only thing. It's for your own learning as well. So think of your first job as someone giving you money to be good at something that you want to do yourself. So when that kind of attitude sort of changes, then you start looking at your first job very differently. My first job was at a institution which was almost like a startup within a corporate world, right? We were a team of about 20 people managing close to about $50-60 billion in the asset management world. And I was at the intersection of technology, investment, and operations. Very exciting space. After 3 years into the job, in the first job, after getting promoted and all of that as well, doing, was sort of go-to person for certain things, I got bored of it. I felt like, this is something I've been there, done that, same problems are coming up in different ways. How do I look for things outside, right? So the second learning was really, don't get comfortable in that job. It's very easy to get comfortable in something that you're good at and potentially great at, and you'll get sucked into that thing and then sort of you'll not challenge yourself, right? It's all about breaking the mold. So lesson number one is learning for yourself and investing in yourself, using that job as a stepping stone. Second is knowing where your comfort zone lies. If you're getting closer to that comfort zone, try to sort of up the ante, get more responsibilities, sort of over deliver, be that go-to person for not just one or two things, maybe but for 10 things, right? And or kind of start looking out as well. There are sort of many opportunities. We have one lifetime, only so many great missions and companies to work for. So that has been sort of something that I continue to hold today, and even tell our current employees very openly, right? Don't hit the comfort zone. If you're hitting a comfort zone, come and sort of talk to us. We'll sort of there's enough and more to do in the startup world to kind of get you out of the comfort zone. Third is that your network matters a lot. Now, we all come from somewhat of a computer science background. It's easy for us to get into a mold where, you are sort of an individual contributor. You are sort of, coding away or doing anything that you'd sort of, you normally do as part of your job, in your first job rather, where you're an entry-level fresher. But networking is very, very, very important, right? It is what accelerates your career path. So start investing in networking very early days. What does networking mean? Networking doesn't mean going and meeting, introducing yourself to the rest of the company and saying, here. Networking is being able to identify where sort of your, the kind of people that you would want to be associated with and for, and do work with and work for. That will help accelerate not just your learning and your sort of growth trajectory, but also aligns well with the company's mission and goals as well. Right? So look at sort of where those sort of, quote unquote power centers are. That's very important sort of for you to kind of go and, ask them out for a coffee, learn something from them, connect with them on LinkedIn, be in constant touch, ask them for advice, develop mentors. Mentorships is, especially as we are young, getting mentors is very, very important because it helps you get that outside in view, right? Someone who has your best interest at heart coming and telling you that, if I were you, I would not do this, I would do that, gets you something to think about, right? So get as many mentors as you can, good people whom you look up to, whom you would want to be someday, right? That's very important. Yeah, final thing I would say is, and this kind of comes back to the second part of what I would like to sort of, leave you guys with. I realize that as engineers, right, you're probably, with a little bit of business background as well, few things come somewhat naturally, like you're logical in your analysis, critical thinking comes in, problem solving by way of deconstructing the problem into smaller parts, and then summing it up from a solution perspective. All that somewhat comes naturally, right? If you're doing, especially if you do your MBA and a lot of case-based studies, case analysis and all of that, some of these things or automatically your mind is sort of, wired to think a certain way. What that doesn't, that is great, right? But that's in the real world also, things don't work completely just based on sort of logic, right? That's where your gut and intuition come in, right? So one of my biggest takeaways from my early professional career was to invest a lot into how to make decisions, how to make good decisions, right? One decision can put you in a good state or in a bad state. You are one good decision away from sort of either making or breaking a career, right? So how do you invest in decision making is perhaps a skill set that not a lot of us think about, speak about, but it's very, very, very important. There are books been written on this, right? I would start off by, if I were to rewind my career and go back, I would probably not do an MBA out of my engineering. I mean, it worked out, God is great, but going back, and I was telling sir and some of the other faculty members in the room as well, I would have probably started up with my first startup right after engineering. A problem that I was passionate about, a problem that sort of I think that I could spend the rest of my life doing. Give it a shot, you'll fail, kya hoga, right? You're sort of young enough, and with that 3 or 4 years of working on a idea, will probably teach you more than what an MBA and 5 years of or 10 years of work experience will, right? And you're that much more smarter. Having said that, it's not easy. The venture power law, as they call it, and if every 10 startups, 7 will fail, 2 will return your money, 1 will be that outsized bet that will become a unicorn. And it's not easy to start up right after in your 20s and all of that. There's, you are still maturing as a professional, and you probably end up hiring people who are much older than you, but it can be done, right? If you are passionate about an idea, I think a very good self-awareness kind of an talk that you can have with yourself and your close friends and your parents and all of that. Why shouldn't I start up if I have an idea? Instead of saying, why should I start up, why shouldn't I start up, is a better question to ask. And coming out of that sort of self-aware talk, if you think that, you're passionate about something, give it a shot. Worst comes worst, you'll fail, right? So that's what I'm telling myself now. It might not be something that most people will agree with, especially parents who are like, abhi to kaam pe ja raha hai, and then you're talking about, khud ka company karo. That is not sort of, what I'm trying to leave you with, but I'm just trying to say that the learning that you get in, working in a startup or starting up yourself is unparalleled. No kind of education will teach you that. You're wearing multiple hats, you're doing everything, you're sort of sweeping the floor to sort of, trying to raise money at the same time, right? So that kind of sort of, experience is great. Some of us will go into the, the MNC world, some of us will go into somewhat larger companies, some of us will go into startups. If I were to traverse my history, I would probably join a startup, right? I started my journey with Fidelity Investments and Deloitte. We have much, much, much larger companies, some of the Fortune 100 companies, right? But what I would sort of get out of, working in a startup is probably nothing, night and day. You'll probably get pigeonholed at best in a large company where you'll start doing only a few things and doing it right and going deep. In startup, it's broad first, right? Then you get deep. So that kind of accelerated learning is sort of, in my opinion, that would have worked best for me if I were to redo my career. So decision making, working sort of in early stage companies, and just getting it done, right? These would be some of the things that, in terms of my own career, that I have learned, which is providing sort of some directional value as I continue to kind of invest time and energy. Those are sort of some of the learnings. I don't know if I have, any more time, or if I can. Okay. So one of the other things that I wanted to also speak to you guys about is so one question I keep hearing from younger people, especially people who have joined our company and all of that. How do I know this is right for me, right? How do I know that this job that I've got, either via campus or either via sort of my own sort of network or whatever, how do I know that this is something that this will be good? Because I've never worked, I don't have any benchmark, any data, everything is new to me. How will I know this works? There are 3 there are three things that kind of happen, right? One is you enter a job knowing you're very crystal clear that this is my passion space, this is where I want to be, this is where I see my career. I don't mind investing the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years in this particular thing, and you go in that direction. For example, I want to work only for Google or Microsoft or a startup for that matter, whatever it is. No? You're very company focused. Second is you're a little domain focused, right? So you say that I don't care about the company. I'll care about the domain. I want to work in data sciences, AI, whatever it is, right? I don't care about the company per se. Third is I don't know. I don't know what I'm passionate about, either the company or the domain. This is the opportunity that I've got or sort of I'm going to get. I'll go there and I'll figure it out. None of those three are bad ideas. All three are great. It really depends on yourself what you want to get out of it, right? And some things will figure out. You'll figure out over a period of time. We're all smart enough. We all are sort of, born into privilege. The fact that we're sitting in this room, that means we're born into privilege, right? We are still a very young country and a poor country, developing country. But the fact that we are here gives us that opportunities for us to kind of experiment. And all these three are valid areas. I've gone through myself all three, right, in my career. And but the way to make the decision, again, coming back to decision making and all of that, is especially on the third side, right? Because a lot of us here might be in the second or the third bucket. You might not, company specific, domain specific, and I don't know. Some of us here maybe, I would argue, because I was in the third bucket when I was sort of, finishing my college and education, MBA and all of that. Had some data points because of the internships and all of that, but largely was in third bucket because I didn't know, right? And I'd argue most of us here are in that sort of, I don't know bucket. And it's okay, right? Once you get in, once sort of you're passionate about, once sort of your work kicks in, you'll automatically know in a year and a half, 2 years, where is it trending, right? And there are two ways to make a decision to whether to stick into that particular job or to move out or try something else in the same company or whatever. One, the data is telling you something. The data is telling you in terms of what is upward mobility of your job in that particular space. Where is the company? Is it part of the core mission of the company or not? If you are doing technology for a financial services company, for a bank, you're not core, right? If you're doing sort of, accounting for a a startup, you're not core, you're a support system, right? But doing technology for a tech startup, you're core. Right? So some things like, data will tell you, like whether this is upward mobility, whether you're going to find your, path in this particular space or not. Second will be completely sort of, gut and instinct. And the way to identify your own gut and instinct is, is the work that you're doing or the company that you're working for, do you identify with that vision and mission of that company? What that stands for, the product that you're building or the services that you're providing in that particular company, is that naturally elevating your energy, right? Or sort of is it something that you don't care enough about? If you're in the second bucket, it doesn't make sense to kind of stick too long in that particular space, right? So it should be, we spend a lot of time working. If you think about it, a third of our lives we will be spending working, right? Maybe more. So it's very important that you find meaning in what you kind of do. Otherwise, why do it? Just for the sake of sort of, money and short-term needs and all of that, it will only take you so far. And I've not met a single successful person so far who has said that I'm in it in my job or my company or started up for the sake of money. If someone is saying that I'm in the sake of money, then that is very short-term, myopic way of looking at it. So, and that's the world that we live in, right? There is like social media and, have allowed us to kind of have multiple sort of different kinds of business models have come up, different kinds of job opportunities have come up, different kinds of, way to kind of, shape your career have kind of happened. It's all about the creator economy. One of my previous boss in one of my one of the companies in the US, his 15-year-old child makes more money than he does. And my boss is about 52 years old, right? And that's the creator economy. And just by being a YouTuber and an Instagram influencer. These are the kinds of jobs that none of us in the room probably had imagined a few years ago, right? But it's happening now. So There are more ways than one to become successful, but most important to being successful is how do you define success yourself? Is success just money? Or is success money plus plus? That's your journey and you will find it out yourself. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to talk today. Happy to take. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words of wisdom. I am sure each one of us will go back enriched with learnings from your experiences. As a token of our love and gratitude, I now request our respected HOD, sir, Dr. Raj Purohit, sir, to kindly present a memento to our chief guest, Mr. Chirant Patil. Thank you, sir. Hearty congratulations to all the postgraduates and graduates of the 2022 batch. We are all proud of you. You worked hard, you succeeded, and now is the time to celebrate. This day signifies a new beginning for each and every one of you. Tomorrow, new challenges and opportunities await you that will further test your mettle as individuals. As you continue your journey, may you look back to this phase of your life with fondness and pride. Enjoy your day of celebration with your family and friends. May we have a huge round of applause for all the postgraduates and graduates of 2022. Thank you all. Gratitude is the noblest of all gestures. To express our gratitude, may I now call upon Sagar sir to kindly propose the vote of thanks.
Warm good afternoon to all. You are educated. Your certification is in your degree. You may think of it as the ticket to the good life. Let me ask you to think of an alternative. Think of it as your ticket to change the world. By Tom Brocco. These golden years in our prestigious institution, GIT, have been a roller coaster. Good times rolled, while hard times smashed at you. We saw a pandemic plague the entire world with famine, unemployment, and cumbersome loss at the medical side. Amongst all this, the one thing that never really stopped was the escalator for education. It kept going forward, though with multiple abrupt breaks, but never got down to a standstill. Surpassing all of this, we are here today celebrating the 6th graduation day at KLS Gogte Institute of Technology, Belagavi. It is my honor to deliver the word of thanks, as I firmly believe in all is well that ends well. A man is a human by virtue, and the gratitude is the highest. In light of this, I will extend my gratitude to the chief guest, Sri Chirant Patil sir, for gracing and highlighting this memorable day in the life of students by his eminent presence. Your encouragement will be a souvenir to their little journey. Thank you, sir, for being here. Warm wishes from the family of KLS GIT and CSE department. We are indebted to the KLS GIT management and our principal, Dr. Jayant K. Kittur sir, in his absentia, for their everlasting support, vehement commitments, and dedication to build a life of our students. The possibility of a success plays a slim chance when there is no coordination among all participating entities. But we pay our due respects to deans, section heads for being the stronghold of the bridge that connects the management to the students. Thank you, sirs. We would like to thank our beloved dynamic HOD of CSE, Dr. Vijay Raj Purohit sir. His enthusiasm and constant motivation to achieve something has greatly inspired our students. Sir, we thank you. The art of teaching is the art of assisting discovery. This is our heartfelt gratitude to all the teaching and non-teaching staff for inspiring and blazing the warm, youth-loaded fires in our students. It has been a commendable effort, and we can proudly say that we have all won. Every person that has been involved in making of this event, right from the non-teaching staff, teaching staff, student volunteers, and the entire organizing committee led by Dr. R.S. Patil sir, ACSI coordinator, today it would have been incomplete without the hard work and the tiring hours that everyone put in. Thank you. Can we have a big round of applause for everyone? Our dear students, as you walk out of this campus today with a hard-earned degree in hand, dreams in your eyes, and with a heavy heart, we can understand the mixed feelings you are having right now. But trust me, 10 years down the line, you will meet one day and ponder around this day and the last 4 years with a song playing back of your head. ಕಥೆಯೊಂದ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಬರಿ ಗುರುತುಗಳೇ ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮಿನ ಬೆಂಚಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾರಿಡಾರ್ ವಾಲಲ್ಲಿ. Thank you. These memories are the gift that one can never buy but can only acquire. In your adventures and discoveries, we wish you health, strength, and courage. May you shine brighter and soar higher. Take a pride in how far you have come and have faith in how far you can go. But don't forget the journey. Dear students, all the very best for your future endeavors. God bless you. Can we have a big round of applause for 2022 graduates? 2 years of graduation and 4 years of PE. Thank you one and all. Enjoy your day.
Thank you, sir. Minor Myers Jr. quoted, "Go into the world and do well, but more importantly, go into the world and do good." On that note, we have now come to the formal close of this ceremony. Good luck and wishing you all the very best in life. Let us all now rise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तब जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Request all the postgraduates and graduates to assemble in front of the library for group photo session, after which you may proceed for lunch. Lunch has been arranged at ground floor canteen between 12:30 and 1:30. Thank you all. Good day. There's one cell phone that we have found. Anybody who is the owner of this, please report here.